will now be recorded.
Right. So when you want to move your data from old system to new system, that is your SAP system, you require some technology through which you can put all your master data and application data into this SAP system. So that's where the conversion comes into the picture, and where the two important technology, one is the BDC, another is LSMW, and one more technology is that BAPI also used for this purpose, business application programming interface. This is also, there are a lot of uses of this BAPI, but one of the uses also to migrate the data, or you can say to update the data into the SAP system. This BAPI also can be used. Okay, BAPI can be also used as interface. BAPI can be also used as interface over here. BAPI is common. Okay, because it's a RFC function module, RFC FM, remote enabled function module. So in interface also you can put this BAPI and RFC function module. Okay, and under the conversion, LSMW, BDC and BAPI both can be put. Okay. Under the enhancement, this is very important topic, the enhancement. Suppose if you are having the SAP system where already SAP standard applications are installed. When I tell the SAP standard application, then the SAP standard table, SAP standard report. When I tell SAP standard report, that means that particular object has been developed by the SAP. That particular report has been developed by the SAP. That means that report and that database table is not going to be a start with Y or Z, because Y and Z falls under the customer namespace. That means the customer can use this naming convention to develop or to create their own object. Okay, so if you are having the standard object, that means that object which is not starting with Y or Z, and there you want to put your own enhancement, if you want to add your own functionality, then how to do that? Because you cannot change SAP system object without access key, and SAP will not give you access key to change their code until and unless it is very, very critical. You will require lot of approval, and that is not recommended at all also. So that's where the enhancement concept come to the picture, where with the help of which you can go and you can change the in fact you are not going to change, you are just putting the add-on. You are not going to change anything in the original system, because you have to implement your own custom functionality. You are just going over there and you are putting some add-on over there. You are just putting some add-on over there, some add-on over here, some add-on over here. The different add-on, you can different functionality you can put. So some people, it also tells like it behaves like a hook. Okay, it behaves like a hook, means SAP has given some point where you can go and you can put your particular functionality over there without having the access key and all. So for that you are having the technical exit. In exit comes user exit and customer exit. Body, business identities. This body is the object oriented concept. Then you are having the implicit enhancement and explicit enhancement. Also we will learn in this course about the switch framework. Okay, so like all this exit, body, implicit enhancement, explicit enhancement comes under the switch enhancement switch framework, or you can simply write switch framework. That means if you have done this enhancement, and if you want and if you don't want to use longer, you don't want to remove the code also, you don't want to delete any piece of code also, so it will be there, but you can switch off. Okay, you can switch off. It will not be effective, like it will be a kind of you are going to comment your code. Okay, so every code will be there, but you can switch off directly. You can do this in your production system also. There is nothing required in between of having the transport and all. So that's the benefit of the switch framework. So maybe we'll try to see the switch framework also in the coming session. Okay, Now, going ahead, let's start our actual SAP ABAP session. This was something like introduction, okay? And maybe I will show you the part which I'm just going to cover over here, okay? So let me open my syllabus. Here I can show you the syllabus. Just a second. Okay, so this is our syllabus where we are going to understand about two-tier or three-tier architecture. So three-tier architecture is also known as a real-time three-tier architecture. SAP logon, most of you people already know about how to log in into the SAP and all these things. Still we will see because some of the freshers are here. And then rules and responsibilities in the development environment, like how we are going to develop the code in our development system, then it will go into the quality system, and then it will go into the production system. So this part we will see. Okay, similarly all the topics which I'm going to cover in this course, I have already noted it down over here. You know, the most important topic, if I can say you, it's going to be, this is the VBA concept, the fundamentals. So this fundamentals is very important in order to understand the ABAP. Okay, so here, like most of the things, we are going to focus on the work area and internal table, like internal table operations and the DB operations. This two part is going to be very important. Then modularization technique. Under this, we are going to learn the subroutines, function modules. Okay. So this modularization technique is also used because we have to, handle the code redundancy. Means duplicate code is not we are supposed to put. So it will, very useful, this modularization technique. We will see in detail about the modularization technique and other things like event and all we are going to discuss in detail. Okay, so maybe and this ALV report you can see, and also if time permits I will show you the oops ALV report, or I will create the separate video for the oops ALV complete set of some, it will be some 10 or 12 videos will be there for the oops ALV. I will create those list of the videos and I will be sharing with you. Then the performance optimization and query optimization, EPC check, ETC, right, code inspector, parallel cursor, best practices for performance improvement, all these things, right? Then BDC, business object and BAPI, module pool programming we will see. Okay, though nowadays it is not in more demand, but still all the existing application in the SAP has been developed in the module pool. So we are supposed to understand at least the basic concept of the module pool program, because while in support project and all, if you have to debug the system, if you have to debug the program, you are supposed to use this one. Okay, just a second. Okay, sure guys, I got an important call. So this is what, like the module pool programming also will learn all the important concept, so it will help you to debug the code. And suppose if you are going to create your native application in your SAP itself using the screens and all, it's going to help you a lot. Then enhancement, it's going to be very very important. The enhancement topic, very important. Okay, we are going to understand this in detail. Then the smart form, we will understand, we will learn a smart form in detail. Nowadays, though a smart form is not in more demand, Adobe form is more demand, but for Adobe form is not in our scope of this course. Maybe I will prepare the separate video for that, and I will share with all of you. But a smart form we will learn. because existing a smart form, you will have to understand, if you have to debug or if you have to develop this smart form concept is, if you can rate it, number one is nowadays the Adobe form. The most of the customer is going for the Adobe form development, and the second is still a smart form, you can say like that. Okay, then cross application ALE ad hoc, the basic concept I will share with you, and the detailed video I have prepared already and put on the YouTube. From there you can go ahead, because there is no separate course for ALE ad hoc. This is just a kind of introduction it will be, and from there, from the my YouTube channel, from there you can go ahead and you can check the complete course over there. Okay, then we will learn in this course the different kind of RFC, like synchronous, asynchronous. So generally asynchronous RFC we use to improve the performance. So all these things we are going to see in the detail, okay, in the coming session. Fine, let's go ahead and we will start our today's session. And here I'm just going to once again share my PPT, and in this I would share like how the SAP architecture is. So if you talk about the SAP architecture, here you are having the important layer, the very important layer is the application server layer. Your all the here you are having here you are having all the ABAP logic, whatever the logic if you want to perform, all the logic is going to run at this application server layer. Okay, and then you are having the database layer. Okay, then you are having the database layer. That means where all your physical database, all your physical database data gets stored. So in this database layer you can have any kind of relational RDBMS. Okay, for example, you are having Oracle, you can have MySQL, okay, or you can have Sybase, okay, you can have DB2, DB6, okay. So any kind of DB can be here, and nowadays HANA is also there, which is a in-memory database. So any kind of database it can be here. So you understood database layer, you understood the applications server layer, but how you will interact with all these things. So you are going to interact with the applications server layer, and our application server is going to interact with the database layer. Okay, so let me represent some face over here, which will represent the people. We will represent the user. So this is the user 1, this is the user 2, this is the user 3, this is the user 4. So we are having different user, which is going to have which is going to have the user ID and password, and with the help of user ID and password they are going to log in into their SAP GUI software. I will show you the SAP GUI software, and that SAP GUI software is interacting with this application server. So we can say that these are the presentation server. In fact, these are these people represents the presentation server. Okay, because they are going to interact with their local computer, and local computer is having the SAP GUI software installed over there, and that GUI represents the presentation server. So this one actually is your presentation server, and this presentation server you can mark it something like this. I'll just let me remove the filling and I will put it over here. This is our application server, presentation server. Okay, so this is your presentation server, and this is how your R3 architecture is. So this total you are having, this total is known as the R3 architecture. Okay, so this presentation server is going to interact with this, and the application server is going to interact with the database layer. So this is your R3 architecture. Okay, R3 architecture. In this R3 architecture, in your application server, you are having again the different component. Okay, so one component, the very important component, is the work process. Okay, I will discuss in detail about the work process. So the important component is your work process. Another important component is ICM, Internet Communication Manager. Due to this, it is possible to interact with the any HTTP or HTTPS protocol. Means suppose if you are going to live any application on your internet, right, or on the cloud, and if you want to integrate with the application server layer, the ICM, this Internet Communication Manager, this component is going to help you over there. This is the a component which is able to integrate the cloud and all apart from the gateway. Gateway is you know like I'm talking about the OData gateway. So it supports the communication between OData gateway and in the internet based any application. Then work process. What is this work process? What is the use of this work process? Okay, let me open a new slides and I will show you the importance of this work process. Suppose if you are a user, okay, suppose you are a user, and here one more important thing, like here you can see that these are the different users you are having, right? And the application server is at one place. So you can see one person is there in the America, one person here in the India, and here in somewhere in for example Nepal, and all different country person is representing, they are having the different machines, and they are all the data is going to managed centrally in a single database, and all the logic is going to manage at the single application server. That's how your different functional modules is going to integrate. Okay, though the different people are using their own system, but at single place it is going to get integrate. Now, what is work process? What is the use of this? So it's an important concept when you will be having kind of 6 or 7 years of experience, and when you will come on the architect level, at that point of time it's going to help you a lot, such kind of concept. Even the basic understanding of this work process concept is also important. So let's understand in a brief what is this work process. So work process is nothing but, if you see the work process, what happens that if you take any action on your system, okay, suppose if you are user, and if you're going to take any action on the system, for example any click on your SAP or like SAP GUI software, or on a screen, if you are going to take any action, for example click on save button or click on any tab, then what happens, it has to perform some certain action, right? So that task is identified by a software called, by a component called dispatcher. Okay, that task is identified by a software called dispatcher, and it is assigned to the different work processes based upon the type of the task. For example, suppose if you have given the command over there to save the data, okay, to if you have to save the data, the dispatcher will identify the task that it has to save the data, and it will pick the particular work process in order to perform the particular task. So we are having different kind of work processes. Okay, we are having different kind of work processes. So the very first work process, that is the dialogue work process. So this is the first work process through to which you are going to interact with. For example, I'm just going to show you. I have already opened my SAP system. Let me come over here, and suppose if I'm going to just let me, I'm not able to do anything over here. What happened? Just a second, it got hanged. So maybe I can close this one and I can again open. So let me try to open once again. Okay, So fine. Now here you can see, suppose if you are going some transaction over here, for example, you have to maintain the material. So you have come into the material transaction over here. You have given some material over here. Click on this OK button. And suppose if you are going to click on the save button, so who performs this action? Who performs this action? When you click on the save button, you can see that it has been saved now. Okay, but the thing is, who performs this action? It got saved. Who is saving this one, right? So the save and all, any kind of action is accomplished by the help of, by the help of work processes. Okay, so if you are going to take any kind of action first, so the user interaction, so there you have seen that I have clicked on the save button. That save action has been taken first by the dialog work process. Okay, so dispatcher assigns that, because the dialog means a user is clicking on any button, dialog means user. You can understand, dialog means user. Whatever user is going to take the action, that particular action is going to received by the dialog. Okay, now if dispatcher determines that there is some operation need to be performed, like save kind of operation, or if there is a update function module kind of things, right? So we will see that update function module and all in detail, okay, in our coming session. So there, if something update kind of things is there, then we are having the update work process. This work process, the dispatcher identifies the type of the task and assigns that particular task to this update work process. Then we are having, suppose if we have given the print command. Okay, so now the dispatcher identifies that, it has to give the print, so that print work process or fax kind of or email kind of process is picked by the spool work process, SPOOL, spool work process. Okay, and if you see the another work process, another important work process, suppose some task is need to be performed in batch or in background. Batch and background both is kind of in same sense I'm using over here. So let's make it simple. Suppose if something you want to perform in not in front end, okay, not in front end, you want to perform in back end, in background, like if you want to schedule some job or something like that, so any kind of background work process is picked by the background work process. Background task is picked by the background work process. Now the last work process what we are having is the very important work process, which is responsible to which is responsible for maintaining the integrity in the system and consistency into the system. So this particular work process, which I'm going to write it down, its name is the NQ work process, which is responsible for maintaining the integrity into the system and consistency. For example, suppose if we're going to change the data record into a database table, so in the same database, two persons should not be able to change the same record. So first the locking mechanism should be applied over there on the first record, and then once the first person is going to, once the first person is going to change the particular record, locking should be applied over there, so that the other person should not be able to change the same record of the same table. So that is possible with the help of NQ work process. NQ work process. Okay, so this is responsible for applying the, lock and removing the lock. Okay, so this is all about the, uh, overall idea about the basic things. Now if you talk about the work process, okay, this session will be little, theoretical. So but it is important to understand this concept. Okay, so the work process, if you talk about the work process has been like a person is having different part, right, to perform their task. Hand is for eating, right, leg is for running, and for walking, mouth is for eating, so something like that. Work process is also having their different component. Okay, so it is having three different component. The first component is known as the screen processor. So if you are going to take any action on the screen, the screen processor receives that particular tasks, and that task then pass to the ABAP processor. Okay, then that, so first with the help of hand we take our food into the mouth, and there the intestine helps us to digest that. In the same way, screen processor takes that task and it assigns to the where it assigns to the ABAP processor, where logic and code has been written. So all the data is being taken with the help of a screen processor and passed to the ABAP processor. And once ABAP processor manipulates the data and it identifies that some data need to be updated into the where into the database, then there is one more component is having with the work processes, that is known as a database abstraction interface. Abstraction interface, very important component is this actually. That's with the help of this component itself, the open SQL came into the picture. Okay, when I talk the open SQL, I will try to make you understand in coming session why I'm talking about the open SQL. As of now, I can simply tell it is open SQL because the same SQL query, the same language is valid for any kind of database. You don't have to bother about here if you are having the Oracle database or MySQL database or Sybase database or DB2 or DB6 or HANA or anything else. You don't have to bother at all. You have to use the same database language, okay, for all the database, whatever the database you are having. You don't have to bother about at all. Okay, any kind of database you can use, and the language in which you are going to interact with the database, that is going to be the same, because this database in abstraction interface, it converts the open SQL into the native SQL. Okay, it converts the open SQL into the native SQL. That means if it is a Sybase database, then it will convert into the native language of the Sybase database. If it is a Oracle database, then it will convert into the native language of the Oracle database. Similarly, for another database, native language of the underlying database. Okay, underlying DB. So this part is actually known as the database abstraction interface. Very important. So if you have to update anything, or if you have to manipulate anything, or if you have to create anything, so any kind of interaction if you have to do, this database abstraction interface carries that particular work. So a screen processor, you understood, it takes the data from the screen and it passes to the ABAP logic, the code, and then code, if realize that it has to interact with the database, then it is going to use the database abstraction interface and it's going to communicate. So this is your work process. Okay, so this is your work process, and it is having the different a different component. Okay, so if you have any question over here, feel free to ask any question. You can unmute at this point of time and you can ask any question if you have. Okay, so this is our component, or even you can put the message over here if you have any doubt. Fine, so let's go ahead, and now I'm going to create one table. So at this point of time, we have completed our like basic part of our syllabus we have completed, and just I'm going into the DB table. There I will show you, if you see this syllabus over here, this part this two tier, I didn't tell you about this two tier. I will just tell you about this two tier. Three tier, we understood what is three tier. SAP login, I will just show you. Okay, roles and responsibility in development environment. This also I will discuss in a while. Okay. Architecture we have seen, types of work processes we have seen, dispatcher we have seen, and the LUW. This we are going to discuss in the later classes, because this concept there is no meaning of, you will not be able to understand it at this point of time as a fresher. Okay, and then we will start with the table. So we'll try to create one table today itself. Okay, let's go ahead and we will see that rules and responsibility in the development environment. So let me go into this system, and as an ABAPer, what we are supposed to do. So actually, as an ABAPer, we are supposed to understand the requirement from the functional people. Functional people, what they will do, they will gather the information, okay, and they will prepare one functional specification document that is known as FS. Okay, they pass the FS to us in the technical department, or like technical people, and technical people understand the FS, and based upon the FS they prepare the technical design, because they have to implement the requirement in form of code and all these things. So for that purpose, algorithm and all, like a step-by-step process they define in more or less pseudo code of kind of things, like at first step we have to fetch the data from this table, then in this second step we have to put the inner join from this two table. So kind of algorithm, we have to put the check, we have to apply the if condition, else condition. So such kind of logic will be there in your technical document, or technical dossier, or technical specification document. So technical document also it is known as TS, also it is known as, okay, both is same thing, technical design or technical specification. So once your technical design and technical specification is prepared, this is supposed to be prepared little more experienced person. Okay, so that because technical document or technical specification is required to have little more skill, but it is not like hard and fast, something like that, but it is a kind of a standard practice that we are supposed to have. Better experienced person are supposed to develop this one. Okay, now if you come over here, that the developer, ABAP developer, here the job starts for a ABAP developer. They understand, so this technical document who is going to prepare, they can be ABAP developer also, some different ABAP developer, or the same ABAP developer can also prepare the technical document, and the same person can start developing also. But generally it is I have seen, other person prepare this technical document, and then another person start developing the code. Okay, and reviewer will be the different person. Okay, so first is that functional specification is prepared by the functional people by after understanding the requirement from the business can be any customer. Okay, so they will be they are going to interact with the customer, and they are going to create the functional specification. Then they will create this technical document, and after that ABAP developer is going to implement that particular code in development system. So first they are going to write the code in development system. Okay, once they write the code into the development system, they will perform a unit testing over here. Once they perform the unit testing means they will just check like whatever they are supposed to achieve the functionality in the very atomic level. They are going to perform the testing. Okay, once they perform the testing in development system, they will move the code into the quality system, and there here two types of testing gets performed. One is DVT and another is FIT. DVT is there are different terminology in the different company and different project. Okay, so DVT means design validation testing, is the design which have been prepared over here. In the same way the design is like in the same way the development has been done over here or not. So here in quality system you are having the DVT, that means design validation testing. Okay, we're going to have the design validation testing. And now if you see at the last, once everything goes fine, then there is a system called pre-production, or sometimes it directly goes into the production. Okay, so it is optional system, pre-production, or so maybe I can remove as of now that pre-production. Directly I'm going into the production system. So after quality, everything, if it is tested over here in quality, DVT, all these things, here FIT can also, the functional integration testing can also be performed over here, or in pre-production system. Okay, if you have the pre-production over there also it can be done. Now in the production system, your code goes over there and it becomes live. Your code starts working over there. Okay, it all happens, all the movement happens with the help of a container, a kind of truck. Okay, whatever the code you are going to write, that is going to be put in a truck. Okay, and that truck is known as the transport. That transport actually put those code, and maybe I can represent the transport with this symbol. Okay, so with the help of transport, you lock your all the code in the transport, and this transport is going to move from this place to this place, from development to quality. So for this purpose, sometimes basis people is there, or sometimes we are having a tool called solution manager. We are going to use that tool, and we will just, with the help of that tool, we will move this transport from development system to quality system, and once again everything get tested, then this transport will move from quality system to the production system. So this is how the basic scenario is there, basic development scenario we are having. Okay, I was talking about the two-tier architecture. Okay, just we talked about the three-tier architecture, right? This is the three-tier. You can see the first layer, second layer, and third layer. Three components is there. That's why this is a R3 architecture. It is known as. Earlier, in beginning, before R3 architecture, there was only, the presentation server, and this application server and database server both was in one component. Here you can see in two different component it is there. Application server is another component and database layer is the different component. Earlier how it was that both these, let me copy these slides. I will copy this one, and maybe I will copy and I will insert a new slides over here, and I will show you over here. Okay. Okay, so here in R2 architecture, both was tightly integrated. This both was there in the same component. Okay, but with this, what used to happen, the problem, with this there used to happen another problem. What kind of problem? I will show you. Suppose tomorrow if you have to, update your application server. Application server is nothing but your SAP software, right? If you want to update your SAP software and your database is not compatible with this application server, okay, with the new software, then it will be a problem for you. Okay, you will not be able to update. Again, you will have to remove the database, or you'll have to make the compatible. You will have to make your database compatible with the new software which you are going to install over here. Okay, so in order to make it compatible, if this application server is not compatible with the existing database system, first you will have to, means whole system you will have to disturb. you will have to modify the whole system. But in R3 architecture, but in R3 architecture, what you will be having here, you don't have any problem. Suppose, tomorrow, if you want to remove the application server directly, you can remove the application server because it is loosely coupled. Okay, it is loosely coupled. But here, if you want to remove the application server and if you want to new application server, you have to disturb your database layer also. This was the drawback with the R2 architecture, and that's why R3 architecture came into the picture. So now R3 architecture is there. Okay, now we are having the R3 architecture. Fine, let us save it. And now we'll start the data dictionary. Okay, we'll start the data dictionary. So what is data dictionary? So data dictionary is nothing but it's a global repository data object. Okay, data dictionary. We will understand about the data dictionary. This is also known as DD, and T code for this is SC11. So in data dictionary, with the help of data dictionary, what we do, we create the table. Okay, so it is mainly for DDL. It provides the functionality for DDL, means for the data definition language. You can create your table. Okay, you can create your table. So okay, you can modify the table definition. Okay, so any kind of things, any kind of definition related things you can do. You can create your table, you can modify your table. Okay, you can so create or modification, create and modify your table. These two things you can do with the help of DDL. So the T code for this data dictionary is SC11. Let's go to the system and we'll understand over there in detail. Okay, so some important thing is like that. Whatever table you are going to create in SC11, that will be the global, that will be globally accessible. Okay, so SC11, that means data dictionary, is also known as global repository, global data repository. Okay, so you can access from anywhere, from the program also you can access, from another table also you can access. Okay, so let's go into the system now and we will see. Go to the system over here, go to, so just one thing also I will try to show you over here as a part of this course, how to log in into the system. So what you will have to do to log in into the system, okay, you have, let me close this server. Okay, here you are having the SAP logon pad. You will be having installed, you will have to install a SAP logon, SAP GUI. I'm having the remote desktop over here. Okay, I have bought the subscription for the remote desktop, and for that, with the help of that, I'm connected over here just by going into from my Windows application, like from my desktop directly. Maybe I can show you, just let me show. Okay, so come over here, just a second. Yes, now just come over here, I will show you what I have done. So now if I can see over here that I have gone into this remote desktop connection. Okay, and from here the server provider will give you the computer name like this, and they will give you the username. So I have already given the computer name and username over here, and then you will have to click on connect button. It will ask you for the password because already I have given the by default password, it is not asking, and it will be connected with the remote desktop. Once you come over here, once you come over here, are you able to see my screen? Can you confirm, anyone? Once you come over here, right?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, so here you will have to double click on this SAP logon, and right, you will be having the already application server configured over here. If it is not configured, like if you want to install in your local system this SAP GUI, that also you can do. If you want to do like that, please let me know, I will let you know. Okay, Fine, let's log in into this system. You will be provided the user ID and password. You will have to give the user ID over here. You will have to provide the password over here. Whatever your password, you can just type it, and maybe I'm writing some wrong. Okay, and once you provide the password over there, you will be logging into the system. Okay, so these particular things, if you see over here, uh the particular things, like maybe I can show you this first. Just a second. Here, this is known as the menu toolbar. Okay, this is known as the menu toolbar. The second one is known as, this is known as, this is known as the standard toolbar. Okay, and this is known as the application toolbar. Okay, so the first one is known as menu toolbar, second one is the application toolbar, and this is the standard toolbar. We have sorry, a standard toolbar, and this is the third one is the application toolbar we are having. Okay, so this is the things over here. And if you want to, and just let me remove this. And here you can see that if you want to make some transaction favorite, for example, I want to make the data dictionary transaction as a favorite transaction, SE11 transaction. So just you can right click over here, right click, and then insert transaction and give the SE11 over here. SE11, click on this OK button. So automatically the data dictionary transaction will come over here. Or directly from here, you can go over here, put the cursor over here, you can give SE11. Okay, press enter, and the SE11 will come over here. If you want to refresh this particular screen, you can give the /n. It will just refresh it, and it will go to the initial transaction. Okay, if you want to open the new session, okay, means new screen, if you want to open, you can keep this screen, and if you want to open the new screen, that also you can do with the help of by clicking on this particular button. You can see the new GUI window, or what you can do, do /o. So it will open the new screen, new session, it will open. Click on this OK button, and you can see now it has not opened, some problem is there. /o, for example, suppose I'm going to create the report screen. Okay, so you can see the another screen has opened in the different screen, and now we are having the two screen. One is the original one, the home screen, and another is for SE11. So /o is used to create the new screen. Okay, new session. Fine, hope it's clear for you. Now this is to go back button. This is for exit button. This is for cancel button. Okay, if you want to exit from the transaction, you can click on this button. Okay, if you want to go back, you can click on this button, you will go back. This is for search functionality, right? So these are the different, mostly when you will start working on this, you will be able to understand. It's a very user friendly. Here you can see this is for activation. I will let you know how you can use this activation. This is for syntax check. Okay, this is a where used list. This is very important button. I will let you know about this detail. Okay, very important button, this where used list. Okay, now come over here, we will create one small table, and tomorrow we'll try to explore the table in a different from the different angle. Let's create one table. Okay, so ZMB 28th morning batch 28th April. This is the name of my table, maybe student table I'm just going to create. So in beginning I will start giving something like identifier, so that ZMB 28 I will be giving you every time, and I'm going to create one student table over here. Okay, click on this create button to create a table, and here you can give the short description. Okay, so a student table, just I'm going to give over here. You can see here you are having the delivery class. Delivery class is related with the transport. All the delivery means you are going to deliver something from one place to another place. So whenever from one place to another place comes into this SAP ABAP, the transport comes into the picture. So whatever you are going to select from here, it is having the relation with the transport. Okay. So the delivery class here, you can see here 7 kinds of delivery class you are having. So based upon the system version, it keeps on changing, but the first 3 is going to be very, very important: A, E and C. Another is not going to be discussed by us. This is related with the basis people or database administrator people. For us, it is sufficient to understand the first 3: A, E and C. A stands for application table. Application table means master and transaction data. Okay, so we will understand what is the master data and what is the transaction data. Okay, so let me go into the PPT. Okay, and I will make you understand what is the master data and transaction data. Then we will go over there and we will uh, 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 choose the appropriate things. Okay, so there are 2 types of data actually: master data and transaction data. So the master data, if you talk about, just let me write it over here, master data. So master data, it it is very important for any kind of business. It's very, very important for any kind of business. Okay, so this is the base of any business. First you will have to, before starting any business, you will have to configure the master data. So the master data, the it changes very rarely. It changes very rarely. Okay, so for example, suppose if you take the real-time example, material master is a master data, because the material information is going to be changed very rarely. Once you create the material information is going to be as it is. Okay, if you talk about the transaction data, it keeps on changing. It changes very frequently. Okay, it changes very frequently. Sales order, purchase order, these are the type of uh, you know uh, data which is keeps on changing. It keeps on changing frequently. So the master data, it changes very rarely. This is important, very important point. And the transaction data, it changes very frequently. This is the main difference we are having between master data and transaction data. Example you can give: material master, purchase info record. There are many material master. Okay, just I'm giving one example over here. And here, like purchase order, sales orders, this kind of data keeps on changing. Okay, so come over here. Now in our system we will come and we will see. Okay, here you can see that application, like if you are having the master and transaction data, you are going to use this A. Now you are having one another kind of this E. This is particularly for the SAP purpose. Okay, this is to control the system behavior. But the C, if you are having the customizing table, so like customizing table, we will understand this one in detail. Like this is mainly concerned with the functional people. They are just like if some table you are going to create the customizing table, with the help of that table, the data which you are going to put into that customizing table, it's going to impact your behavior. It's going to impact the system program behavior. Okay, we will see that one also. As of now, let's select this application table. Okay, and here we are going to select the display and maintenance allowed, so that I can put the data into my table. Okay, now come over here. The very first field we will have to always give, that is the MANDT field, though it is not mandatory. But what is the significance of this? I will let you know. If we're going to give mandate, then what it will do. If it is not going to give, if we're not going to give mandate, then what it will do. As of now, let's give this MANDT. Okay, this key mandate will be always a key field. If we're going to give the mandate over here, it's going to become always a key field. Here, do you want to Now you can see that initial values. Do you want to provide this mandate? Do you want to provide the initial value over here? If there is no value in this, okay, for that purpose we will see. For mandate, always the data element will be mandate only. Okay, we will see what is the meaning of data element. Okay, so data element is nothing but a kind of data type. Okay, so whatever field you are going to define over here, you have to tell to the system what kind of data it's going to store. So I have given the data element over here, mandt. Okay, and you can see from the data element it has taken the information that its data type is the client data type and length is 3. Just forget it, this one as of now. Come over here, and the second field I'm going to give over here a student id. Okay, a stud underscore id, just I'm going to give, and a student id is going to be our primary key. Okay, so what is primary key? So primary key is nothing but it's the identification for the single record. It's the identification for the unique record in a table. Okay, so for all the student is going to have a single identifier that is known as the student id. Okay, so this is also going to be our key field. Okay, so the combination of mandt and student id is going to be our key field. Okay, initial value, if you want, you can select over here, and here you can create your own data element. Okay, or you can use the existing data element. For example, I want to give the student id something like int1. I want to store a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, something like that, student id number. Okay, so I'm just going to use this int1. This is a data element which shows what kind of data type and length you are going to use. Okay, what kind of, so you can see the data type is an integer data type and length is 3, right? We are having a student id can be also something like, you know, a student uh, uh, let's make it simple as of now. Int1 will keep it, and here the student name, a student underscore name. Okay, I can give a student underscore, maybe first name you can write, and then a student last name. So L name you can give over here, right? This is not required to have a key field. If you want, you can make, there is no problem, but we are already having one key already, right? So the minimum, the minimal combination of the any field which is going to create your primary key, that's sufficient for our primary key, right? So mandate and this student id combination is sufficient to have a primary key, right? So now this student id, just I'm going to give it over here, and you can see that and suppose now if you are going to get confused with this mandt, maybe you can remove this one. Okay, I will let you know about this later, what is the mandate at that time we can see. So just you can see the student id is going to have here my primary key, that's fine, a student first name and a student last name over here, and here name can be of type character, right? So for example, someone name is Ashwini, so Ashwini may be of 20 characters maximum, so just I'm going to give the maximum 20 characters. So you will not be able to give the name more than 20 characters if we're going to specify character 20. So maybe let's, for safer side, let's have char 25. So if some name is longer, it's going to accommodate char. The last name maybe also I can keep char 20. Okay, so you can see that this is the data element char 25, char 20. These are the data element which tells about the data type and length. So once you give the data element over here, automatically it will take the data type and length, and the description whatever it is there, it will also take from there the description. Okay, it will take the description. Now maybe you can write some, you know, a student age also you are interested to store. Okay, so a student age, there is one more data type that is called numc. Okay, so numc2, let me check, and you can see the age, I'm just considering that age is not more than 99 years, so just I'm keeping the 2 only. Okay, if you are thinking that age can be more than 99 also. So maximum you can take num_c3 and that should be fine. Okay, so press enter and you can see the num_c3. Okay, so now the thing is over here, like, if you want to use the data element, that's fine, but if you want to use the predefined type also, you can use. So what is the meaning of predefined? Predefined means directly you can use the num_c or character, whatever you want. Okay, num_c or character, whatever. So click on this predefined and you can see over here it is coming like this. Data element option is not there. So basically the data element why we are giving, just to get the type and the length. Okay, just to get the type and the length. So maybe the date of birth you can give over here, and here for the date of birth you have to use the date data type. So press F4 over here and you can see you can find out some date data type. Just keep on searching over here and you will be able to see somewhere some date data type will be there. You can see the different data type is there. You can just choose it from here. And okay, so I'm just using this date data type. You can choose over here, right? You can choose like this. That is possible. Okay, press enter and that's it. We got the date data type. Okay, some another, for example, age I have given, date of birth I have given, first name, last name, age, date of birth, and if you want to give some mobile number information, if you want to put, okay, so mobile number, uh, mobile 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 number I want to keep it for the student. So here also, it can be you can give the num. Okay, nums you can use over here, or integer you can use, right? So mobile number I can keep it of 10 characters or maybe 12 characters, right? Or maybe 13 characters, like that you can use. So 10 for the mobile number, 2 for the country code, right? Or 3 for the country code. So maybe 12 only is sufficient for you. Unnecessary use of we are not supposed to use unnecessary, there is memory use of unnecessary memory is not recommended, right? So that's why, and just I'm going to save it. It is telling, you can see, specify a client specific application table, right? Because I have not given the MANDT. I will let you know what is the meaning of client specific. Okay, just click on the save button, but thus just it was a warning. You can create the table without client also. Okay, now you can see over here and you can come to this technical settings. Okay, so now just simply I'm going to use the data class over here. Tomorrow I will let you know the meaning of data class, actually what it stands for. But in a brief, you can see over here you are having the different data class: APPL0, APPL1, APPL2, and like that. The first three is very important. Okay, so what kind of data you are going to, your data which you are going to store over there, which comes under which category, what kind of data is that, whether that is the master data, right? If that is the master data, you can select the master data. Is that the transaction data, right? If you are having, if you are sure that it's a transaction data, but the student information, it will not keep on changing regularly, right? So its nature is like master data. So maybe you can select this master data. And if something data is like customizing data, you are going to customize in your table so that the functionality of the business can be in runtime, it can be dynamically impacted. So for that purpose we can use this one, but in this case it is not required, this organization and transaction, right? Master data I'm just going to use, and as a developer mostly we are going to use this master and transaction. Okay, master data I'm going to use over here, and the size category here, it will tell you what should be the size category, 0 to 4400, like that you are having the size category, which size category you are going to use, right? How many records you are going to use. Here you can see, suppose if you want to use 10,000 record, and if we're going to use the first size category, can you tell me if it is valid or not? Any one of you, if it is valid or not? If I'm going to use, you can see the different kind of size category we are having. And suppose if you have to store the 10,000 student records over there, where it is, work or not? The first one.
Yes, sir, it works, but again, we automatically it will change to is 4,400 to 17,000.
No. So this will work automatically. It will not change. There is no automation actually. This one size category, it will not change automatically. But what will happen? It will allocate the memory initially for 4400 record. Okay, but when your record is going to have more than 4400, automatically it will allocate another chunk of memory for 0 to 4400. Okay, so in multiple of 4400 records, it will start allocating the memory. So if you are sure that you have the less amount of data, then you can go for this 4400, though it will not create any problem. But for the memory management purpose, it is advised, if you know that how many particular records you are going to store, that's better to select. But it will not create any problem. If it is more than 4400, in that case, it is going to allocate another chunk of memory for again 0 to 4400. Hope it's clear. Okay, if it is not, please let me know. I will represent it with the help of a diagram, and I will let you know. You can drop the message over here also if you are not feeling comfortable while talking. Okay, fine. And here, the buffering not allowed, buffering switched, buffering allowed but switched off, and the buffering activated. What is the meaning of this?
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
I think so. Has exited.
I think he has some problem in technical. Server has been disconnected.
Yeah, now is it fine? Hello?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, some internet issue was from my side. Okay.
Yeah.
So just just a second. Once again, I'm just going to connect this one. Okay, fine. Yeah, some issue was from my side. Yeah, fine. So let me save it. So here you can save.
Screen is not coming.
For the buffering, we will see in tomorrow class what is the meaning of this. I just let that buffering not. Okay, now let's, and having two more changes: log data changes and write. We are going to just go back.
Hello, sir. Your screen is not coming properly.
Let me click on the save button.
Very
My
familiar,
voice is
yeah.
not coming.
But the screen is not coming.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Now is it coming?
Yeah, no, it's a remote desktop connection has been
Just a sec. Okay.
yeah, no, it's coming.
Just a second.
Sanna.
Okay. Let's save it. Yeah. Other people
APK.
can mute from your side.
Undi.
Other people can mute from your side, please. Just a second. Let me mute. Okay. Fine. So let me save it, and what I will do, I will check the syntax over here. Okay, it's a warning we can ignore as of now. I will tell you why this warning is coming. Okay, just go back over here, activate this one. Okay, and it got activated. You can see it got activated. And now click on this content button and go over here. You can go to this. You can just click on this F8 button. You can see there is no record because I have not giving any record. Number of entry is 0. Just go back once again, and here, suppose if you want to put the entry, you can go to the table contents and click on this create entries. Okay, give some value over here. Student name may be MD. First name, I want to keep something maybe George. Here the first name, the last name Bush, age 23, date of birth maybe you can select from here. So this F4 is coming from the data element because I have selected the data type date, right? From there it's coming. So date of birth I have just selected something, and the mobile number you can give any mobile number, and just you can click on the save button. It will save the data in the table. Similarly, you can save the second record and George 1, Bush 1. Okay, the 24, the different name just I'm putting over here. So maybe if you want to change the name over here, okay, some different name also you can change. For the second record itself, it will go and change over there, right? Just is saved over here. The third, maybe I can give some another Ram, and here I can give the Kumar, something like that, and maybe the age we can give 30, and click on you can select some date over here. Just save it. Okay, just go back and you can see the 3 records I have put over there. Click on this F8 and you can see all the 3 records got saved over here. Okay, so with this here, I'm just going to stop the session over here. You are having the assignment. What you can do, that you can create one table. Okay, you can create one employee table. So that, let me give the assignment over here. You can try yourself, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me. So I'm just going to write on this PPT. So the assignment you have that, create a table. So the table name will be ZEMP, and what you can give your name over here. After Z, you can give, for example, others is going to create this table, so you can give AD just for identification, and for creating every object you can start with ZAD, so that anytime if you want to search, you'll be able to search. It will be better for you to manage. Okay, so ZAD and employee, you can create this table over here with below fields. So the first field what we will have to use, employee ID. Okay, the second field you can use the same employee first name. The third you can use the employee second name. Okay, then you can use the age, you can use the salary, something like that. You can use the data type. Here you can just decide the data type as per your wish, what should be the proper data type, and create the table and insert some 5 records at least, and just go and check if that record is present over there or not. Okay, fine. So let's save over here, and we are going to stop here session today. And let me know if you have any question over here, or else we can log out. Any question if you have, please feel free to ask any question, anyone, if you are having.
Yeah, Pankaj, hey, this is Kaleem. I joined slightly late.
Hi Kaleem.
Hey.
Yes.
Did you discuss the software yet, or did I miss that? Because how are we going to do this assignment without any sample software? Or did you already?
Okay, so have they like okay, so I will let you know. Like first, what you will have to do, I will tell those person to provide you the access, and once they will provide you the access, what you will have to do, you'll have to come over here, and you will have to click on this remote desktop connection, or you will have to search your MSDSC. I think you are not able to see my screen. Just let me share the screen. Okay, and here you can see that the remote desktop connection, you can see, or here you can write the MSDSC, and you will get the remote desktop connection. Okay, and from here you can give the computer name, which will be shared by you. So they will share with you soon, and then you will be able to connect with the system. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. Any other question?
And just for time management, should we start doing the later hours better? I think for me anyway, because I think you and I discussed 9 Eastern, but I think 10 p.m. Eastern is better Monday through Friday. Is that good for you as well?
Hello.
Yeah, Pankaj. Yesterday we